From a very early age, I've always had a passion for music and high-end audio, and it's always been there, and I've always tried to improve the technicality of the sound I listen to and to get as much out of the audio as I can. And it stems, I suppose, back from, well, very early age. When I was 15, my first job was in a film dubbing company up in London called Preview 2 Sound, and I sort of learnt to obviously listen out and take more interest in sound and basically how it was put together and the quality, and repeating the audio to be more as lifelike as I could get it. So I sort of spent many years working on it and fiddling around with it, and bought various different items. I suppose the best that I bought was back in 2000 when I bought this Musical Fidelity A3 dual mono amp, CD player, and these Dyn Audio Audience 70 speakers, which were really sort of, I suppose at the time, they sort of took me to another level. But even through that, I sort of felt it lacked a bit of bass, because obviously you're only going to get inside these. Oh, do you know, I don't even know what size they are. They're probably a 5 or 6 inch, probably a bit smaller, probably a 5 inch, 4 or 5 inch woofer in those, and it didn't give me enough bass and enough punch. What was there was great quality, but what it didn't give me is that sort of depth, and I presume really you need to get from a subwoofer. So as part of that process has gone on, and I've sort of looked into more items, I decided to delve into the sort of Bang & Olufsen side of things now, and I thought it was time to give that a go. You know, I've read a lot, I've seen a lot. I didn't know whether it was just money for nothing or hype. I went with a friend to visit the Bang & Olufsen store in Windsor a couple of years ago, and when I saw what they put into their digital analog converters and the quality that had gone into it, and I realised there was probably a bit more than I was giving credence to, because I'd just gone on, I suppose I just suspected it was sort of more hype around the design than around the quality within. So I then decided to take that a bit further, so I started investigating maybe getting some Bang & Olufsen speakers and find out what would integrate with my existing system. I started off at some of the cheaper ranges, obviously not brand new, because the brand new one's really a bit prohibitive at this moment in time, but I started off at the 6000s, looking to see what was available on the internet, see what I could get that compare with this system that I've got at the moment. And I worked my way up, and I thought all of the 8000s being active with built-in amplifiers, they're the way to go. And then there was the 8000 Mark IIs, and then there was the 8002s. Well, to cut a long story short, after probably 3, 4, 6 months of searching and leaving searches in place, notifications coming through, a pair of 8002s came up available on the internet. So I had a look at them. They were a bit outside what I wanted to spend on something that I'm just sort of toying with, and I just marked them as a watched item. Anyway, lo and behold, 3 days later, the offer came through significantly, about 30% off what the offer price was, and I couldn't resist it, so I bit the bullet and I bought them. And I've got these ones here, which I'll maybe do a better review on later. They're in gloss black. You can probably just see them in front of my Dyn Audience 70s there. I bought some cables from Steve at Sounds Heavenly and patched them in. The beauty with these ones is, although there isn't a line in, an RCA on the back of these speakers, they've got the power link, but there is a switch to switch it onto line, so you're able to use. What I've actually done is I've used the preamp output from the amplifier to go to each speaker, and that's the line in that's generating the sound. Anyway, so I put that together, fired it all up, and yes, clarity is amazing. It really is fabulous, but of course, even with the smaller drivers in there, bass drivers in these ones, I lack that depth of bass that I need. So now what's happened is it's put me in a situation where I'm now going to need to move forward with a subwoofer. So the BLab 19 is prohibitively expensive at the moment for me, and it's not something I really want to put that much money into. But what I have found more available on the second-hand market is the the Beolab 2. So I've got a few searches out for that at the moment, and one's come up at the moment I'm tracking, but it's getting one for the right price. So the next part of this process is to get that and to see if I can then give myself that level of depth of bass and a bit more warmth to it all. The clarity's there, and obviously with a dual mono amp like this one here, with the amplification and speakers I've got, everything is great. It's just getting that next depth down. And I recalled a story to myself the other day, which was, I've always had this sort of quest to try and get something that sounds, you know, to close your eyes and imagine that actually you are in the room with a band or an orchestra playing, and that background of clarity. And about, it was probably 10 or 12 years ago now, we were on a Christmas visit up to Harrods, and we were having a wander around, and we walked up the floor to the AV department. Walked up the floor, went up on the escalator, and as we were going up the escalator, I could hear this sound coming at us, and it was like there was a 12-piece orchestra up there playing. And you know, when we came up the escalator, I was expecting to see them all there, you know, strumming away, and sure enough, when I got up there, it was a hi-fi system playing, and it was the closest that I've ever seen and heard to what I was actually looking for, something that was that realistic. Now, okay, I remember going to investigate, and it was a Lin system that was there and playing, and I think, if my memory serves me right, bear in mind 10-15 years ago, the price of that system was 25,000, so it's sort of out of the reach of most, but it was amazing, and it sort of notched the bar up a little bit higher for me to try and reach a higher accolade in these things. So what I'm doing at the moment is, I thought I'd just take you through this first stage of it. So we've got the speakers, we've got the amp working. I probably would like to go for some of B&O equipment, and I've been doing some researching on that. I might go for the Beosound 9000, you know, the 6 CD stacking unit. I think that would look amazing, and they're readily available at the moment, but I'll come to that afterwards. I think the first things first, let's see if I can get that bass put in using the subwoofer. So I've got to get hold of one of those. I then need to get a particular cable for that, because obviously when I've got the preamp outputs coming out the back of the amp, they then go into the Beolab 2, but they've got to be able to switch the speakers on using their output, and for that we just need a little bit of wiring, which I know is readily available. So I'm doing some work on that as well at the moment. But I just thought I'd kick it off with this one and just sort of try and lay out what I'm trying to achieve and how it's coming together. And then really, I suppose, let's see what happens at stage 2 when I actually get the subwoofer, get that in place, and see if it starts to meet my dream, I suppose, of getting this higher end audio out of it. You know, I've got the CD player, which is running optically into a DAC, which is an Arcam DAC that I've had for some time, and the clarity of that coming through is fabulous. As I say, I've got all of that sorted out. I just need to get this bass resonance increased a little bit to what I'm after. So that's the stage, that's where I'm at the moment. Let's go for the Beolab 2. It's going to take me a little while to find one, but I'll get that up and running and see how we go from there. But this was one just to sort of kick off, if you like, the essence of what I'm trying to achieve and what I'm trying to put together. So let's see, and if you're interested and want to know a bit more about how this goes, subscribe and follow on, and I'll have something following up soon, hopefully, to show you whether or not I make it. I did consider playing some audio through the speakers, as some of these reviewers and things do, but really there's absolutely no point in me playing you any music, because for starters, you're going to have an issue unless I find something that doesn't have a copyright issue on it. So that would be one thing. But the second one is, I'm going to replay this lovely quality audio that I've got. I'm going to record it through my camera video. It's going to go onto the internet. There is no way you're ever going to make or hear an audible difference between the best and the worst, because it's all going to be controlled by the speakers and the system that you're listening on. Anyway, if you want to hear more and see more, like and subscribe, and as I build this kit up, I'll do a little bit more on it and take you through this journey of the Bang & Olufsen side of it and how I'm getting on with that, the cabling side of it, some of the issues and how I've got round the issues of the cables. I've got a reel-to-reel tape machine that I'm reinstating, an old Revox A77 which I've had for 40 years now. I've just got that up and running again recently with some old tapes on it, so I'll be bringing that into play. Be interested to see the tapes I recorded 40 years ago, how they fare today. They would have all been taken from records at the time. Anyway, I'll do more of that. If you would like, then I'll certainly post some more and do some more on these things. Anyway, thanks for watching.